Huh? Now I wait to see what the hell we're doing. Slide right up. It's not the one we called up, is it? Man, that'd take a while. And this is how you come down.
Understand.
Right.
Yeah. And so like when it was happening to us, and I think it was because they were curious about someone in our little group of kids that were playing out there. I think they were curious about one, and because it wasn't me. And I just stood up because like I was the oldest one, and I always had like 5 or 6 of the community kids, and we'd go hunting for stuff to look at and explore over the mountain. The farthest we went was over another mountain, and I told them that it was getting close, and I said, no, you're scaring us, and you need to go away. And it was like there was no allowance, like they were not allowed to. This is my land. I'm going to come here anyways. Or, like there was no arguing back. As soon as I said that, it was just like you're turning on and off a light, like they had to go. And that's what, like they're not allowed to. And I knew that as soon as I was told, and I was pretty young when I was told to do this, it was like just fit right in there. They're not allowed to talk to you. And if they talk to you, they're crossing the spiritual border. Kind of like when one of the natives killed one, they demolished his house because they opened the door and they let them in by doing that. They crossed the border. So like, that's kind of like, you're going to get what you ask for. If you ask for it, you're going to get it.
This is true.
Yeah.
This is true. Whatever you manifest, whatever you want, it's coming.
Yeah.
But it's the consequences that you don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe.
And that's like, when you teach a dog, like, don't get on the counter. No, don't do that. And I'm not saying you're treating Bigfoot like a dog, like like lower, but they do know the spiritual boundaries. Like, you cannot, and you have to listen, because they are in more contact with, the Creator, God, whoever, than we are. And and how I always took it is that they
live the life.
Yeah. So like, if they disobey, they have to me, like, I've always known, and I don't know why I've always known, if they disobey that, they suffer the spiritual consequences to that. Like, there's an authority that we as humans have because they've been around for so long, right? I'm like, they're intelligent and they know technology. They've experienced it as we've developed it. Like the scientists that say that they're appearing in these places, right? And if they didn't have that, border, if they didn't have that, like, where would we be? We're so, like, they're just as smart as us and smarter because they've been here. Like, how come they haven't taken over the world?
Well, so I've said that before. I remember I said it before, even in Pemberton. Whatever. If one of these things woke up on the grumpy side of the bed one night and decided to, it could basically kill everybody, one of them, in a community. In how long? House to house. In the house, kill everybody in what? Less than a minute.
Yeah.
Basically blow through the wall of another house next to your neighbor.
What's stopping them, right?
Right? What's stopping them?
That's the spiritual connection to the land.
Yeah, because it's so confusing, right? Yeah. Like, so many people, you got these things pacing on the side of the road. You step, they step. You stop, they take one extra step. Or, you got a campfire, they're sneaking up, and they're watching it from just inside the forest. All right, so that's confusing as shit to me, because for me, I'm picturing, say, us three right now. We're going through the forest in the dark right now. Us three human beings. Us three right here. We're going through the forest. Hey, shh. Look at that. There's 5 9 to 12 foot tall hairy dudes sitting around that fire right there. Let's go sneak up to them and see how close we can get. We would say never ever.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You'd be like this. Let's get the F out of here.
Yeah,
so confusing. And they run. Like, the second these beings see that we see them, boom, gone. But after giving us a look, they want to rip your frickin' face off.
Yeah.
What's up with that?
That's the spiritual side of all of this.
Yeah, it's funny because the experiences that you guys have had, it's all been neutral, got respect. No, we're all good. We're not raised to be scared of them. But you've heard the people speak from around the world.
It has to be like a mutual respect. Like, our communities always treated them with some respect, so they have to give it back. And if they didn't have that direct accountability for their actions, it's instant, right? It has to be instant. Like, that's all.
Pretty powerful medicine going on in their half of the street.
Yeah,
big time, right?
And it's kind of like, that resentment that these people are calling in, seeing this horrid, awful, looks of hatred and stuff. Only thing I can think of is like a bully, right? Having to listen to the people that he's bullying, like the resentment and hate.
Be like, oh, I hate you.
Yeah, and I have to listen to you, And,
but they're not selective. I mean, native, non-native people are getting the exact same treatment. Yeah. It's across the board.
Yeah, but we've never had that at home. We've never, it's always been like, when they look at you, and that's another thing too. Like, a lot of times they're looking at me like this, You know, as they're going behind the smokehouse, I always remember seeing them, like, you know, walking like this and looking. And I don't know why they've never looked at me directly on, but they've always looked like that. And,
really?
Yeah, because they're moving, I guess. But I don't know. I don't know why they all just turn their head and look full at me. But I just remember them, you know, seeing their eyes like.
Just kind of like, I should be looking at you. I'm gonna look at you a little bit, and then I'm gonna get back out of there.
Yeah.
Weird, isn't it? It's just such a bizarre. It's just such a bizarre world to become aware of without being taught and being raised to believe that it's not true. It's just such, and now you got to figure it out for yourself. You know, like it's just such a crazy ride getting all this information and knowledge in and trying to make sense of it. It's the hardest part for me because, you know me, I mean, I need to listen to everybody in the world. I want to hear from all you guys because. We got nobody else, and I want to hear from all of you, and the experiences and the attitudes.
You know, like, I just have to tell you this, you know, and I know I just interrupted you. But ever since we met, I've decided I'm gonna ask my friends, right, like online, because I talk to people all over the world, and I would introduce it like, okay, I have something to ask you guys. And I'm serious, no fucking around, no messing around. And I was like, do you guys have like Bigfoot or Sasquatch? Like, have you guys ever heard of anybody talking about this? And it's usually some of the younger ones are like, yeah, whatever, and they go off and do their own thing. But some of the older ones are like, yep. Yeah, oh yeah, and they'll tell me a story or that they've heard, or they'll tell me what they've.
Right.
And then I send them to your site. I'm like, oh my god, I watched this guy.
It's pretty common, right?
Yeah.
It's pretty
a lot of
common.
the, like right now, I'm talking with a bunch of military guys. And
oh yeah.
There's this medic that's there, and he is so angry. So like, you know, when you come across, like I come across military guys all the time, and he can't sleep at night because of some of the things he saw over there.
PTSD.
Yeah. So like he hangs out with me a lot, and I'll just be doing my thing, and I like to sing. I sing like an Anus, like I just squawk. Like I just don't have a good voice at all. So like I'm just doing my thing.
Sing like nobody's listening.
Yes, yeah, and he like so many other military guys are like, it's just nice to be here. It's calm, and I think it's the ambient noise of me being, you know, silly and stupid and doing.
So has he heard of anything?
Yeah, he's heard and seen. He's dealt with people who have been like his leg was torn off in a fight, and
what?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
That's all he told me. And
in a fight with what?
The redheaded giants.
Wait, whoa.
What?
Let's back this up. So you're talking to a guy that went to Afghanistan and lost his leg?
He helped the man that
He helped a man who lost his leg with a fight with a redheaded giant in Afghanistan.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
What did he tell you?
He said from that point on, he just left. He quit the army because he saw the effects of something.
He
bigger.
left the forces because of the redheaded giant incident.
Yes. Like
no
dealing with
way.
It. Yeah.
And you're still in contact with this guy today?
Yeah. Well, I was talking to him like maybe 2 days ago.
No way.
Yeah, and he's so full of anger and rage, and I think it's from the fact that there's something bigger out there. And he can't grasp that. Like, as a human being, he can't.
He's just frustrated.
Yeah.
Can't
really
relate.
Frustrated.
So can he make a coherent, intelligent conversation?
Yeah.
Do you think he would email me in what he knows about this redheaded giant incident?
I'm not sure because he just made the decision to go back into the military full time.
Really?
Yeah.
What made him do that?
I think because he can't function in
he doesn't want to.
Oh, right. It's just like people going to prison for all their life and they get released and they can't relate. They want to go back to prison, right?
Yeah. He's so angry and so frustrated.
Maybe run it by him. Just run it by him.
Sure.
Say, don't have to leave your name. I don't give a shit who he is.
Yeah.
But if he's got a version of the story, I want to hear about it because there's a handful of guys who are been sharing that incident.
Yeah.
And it's...
You know, like when
it's tough to ignore.
You showed me that video of of the night vision, and they saw the.
Oh, did I show you that one? That video I got? Yeah.
And you were like, look at this. I'm like, I've seen it before.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I've seen it before, and I've seen other ones like that because, you know, how many satellites? Nobody knows. Like, the general population does not know. They're like, oh yeah, there's lots up there. But they have to have people, everything has to be so on the spot to find room for a satellite to go up there. There's just so much garbage.
Could you imagine? I'm sure not every country's meshed up with each other with launch sites. And
they have to
claiming the sky.
They have to, or there's collisions. Like
space debris.
And you know, and a lot of people don't know this either. Some of the satellites are outdated, and they need like hardware to actually get updated. Like not software updates, but hardware updates. So they just shut them down, and like any computer, it can be turned on, and you know that's what I've done. And you know, so you can have access to all these satellites, and some of them have like infrared, you know, capability and zooming in to read the.
Yeah, well, the word on the street is they can zoom down from the space and tell you what knot you got in your sneakers.
Yep, they can tell. They can read this. I'm like, if they can see can see in through, they can, and they can look through. For heat waves and find out how many people. Of course, everybody knows that, right?
Yeah.
But those are outdated satellites that people have, and
well, that video I showed you.
Yeah,
that was from a helicopter.
Yeah, well, these are from satellites.
Yeah. Well, you seen images from the satellites?
Oh yeah.
No way. Get me some.
Sure.
Do it. Get me. If you can get some images, get them to me.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
I won't tell anybody where it came from.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and so like after. Remember I was telling you about that guy that was posting shit on your website, and then I found out who he was. Like I found his IP and I looked around. Like I looked around his area, and he lives like in the boonies, and the woods are like really different. I've not seen woods like that and stuff like that. So like he's down
south.
Yeah, in Kentucky area,
right?
And it's really different down there.
Yeah.
And I've not ever seen land like that. I guess there's like some swamps or something.
Oh man, it's a different world down there. Yeah. Alabama, all around the southern U.S. Yeah, there's huge, great big swamps, cypress trees. Yeah. The deer run around in the swamps like normal in water. The sounds are amazing. Yeah, it's absolute opposite what's going on up here in the woods around there for sure. Yeah. It's pretty cool. And it's kind of creepy.
So when that's what I sent him with some screenshots of like what I was looking down on him and sent him, and like, you know what, you're an asshole, and you know, I don't know why you're trying to take down a man who speaks the truth, and he speaks other people's truth.
He's nothing. He's that big. He's not even that big.
Yeah.
Well, off to the curb, back to the curb.
Yeah.
You know, all the curb. He's gone. Well, there's so many have come and so many have gone when it comes to just hacking this place. Like, I started to think too, I know it's a little off topic when I've said this before, but there was 3 or 4 or 5 individuals who had YouTube channels and affiliated with various Sasquatch groups and organizations, blah, blah. And they would go out of their way to try to undermine and derail what I'm doing here, like to an extreme point. But I never said their names publicly once, because you got to be a dumbass too, right? And all they did was marketed the living shit out of this place. You can almost give them credit for us being who we are today with this channel. Smart as a pickle, right? But what I am saying is, though, without anything, I might have a little bit to do with it, maybe, but all those channels, dead in water. 100% of the groups and channels that came after this place are today absolutely dead in the water, insignificant, zero, nothing.
Yeah.
Weird, right? Isn't that kind of weird?
No.
Yeah, maybe not. I mean, it's nothing to do anything to make that happen. They did it themselves. But it's just been an interesting thing for me to watch as we go, watching what has happened to these people who carry themselves through life that way, and they do themselves in.
Yeah, the darkness, you know.
You take the light, the blackness scurries away, right? The dark scurries away when the bright light comes on. Yeah. It's not the opposite.
Yeah, you tell the truth.
Yeah, you can't turn on the dark and make the light. It doesn't work. You turn on the light, you little dark bastard's got to go, huh?
Yeah, and you have a lot of people on your side just because
you're first going up to your family.
Yeah.
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 So
all over the world. It's wonderful.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
So what do you guys think about me going and down south and meeting up with these people?
If you're gonna go, you have to protect yourself. You can't rely on your physical or your mental. You
Right.
have to do this spiritually. It's not a matter of strength. What you're doing is you're opening a spiritual door.
Yeah.
And you're gonna let these people in.
Maybe not.
Yeah.
On the fence.
Yeah.
I'd
So
like
if you go, you have, that's called an act of faith. Whatever you believe in, it's an act of faith. If you're gonna go in there as a warrior, protected
right.
by your faith.
Right.
If you don't, you have an open door, and these things will follow you back.
Well, that's like I said to Sarah. Like she likes to obviously travel and see people. But I said to her, I go, I don't think it's a good idea you go, because we don't need. She's what's going on with her and around this property and the kids, right?
She's a light.
She doesn't need. We don't need that. But me, I mean, I'm going down. I am very, very. I need to meet these people who allegedly are communicating with these beings. I want to look these people in the eyes.
Yeah.
Just like you said, when you met me, you got to see my eyes and you got to feel my energy. I want to meet these people, look in their eyes, and listen to them tell me what's up, what's going on with them.
Well, you know that time for them is like this. You know.
Time for who?
These spirits.
Right.
These things down there. You don't have very long here. You haven't been here as long as they have. They know way more than you do. And I just get the distinct impression that she's being used. Not by people, by them.
Well, there's there's 1, 2, 3 different groups claiming the same, allegedly. 3 that I believe they've got some stuff going on. But what I have noticed too is some of these people are having some real bad luck in life right now. Real bad luck. But
yeah, I was really worried about you.
I'll be fine because I'm in tune. I'm absolutely in tune with myself. Look where I go by myself for years. Absolute confident. I know what to do. I'm in tune with my own.
So you make a conscious decision to not go where this energy is like, oh, I'm not going to go there, and then you go to a place where you do feel good. You're making a conscious decision to go into a place that doesn't feel good. That's what I mean. You have to make sure you have your armor on. You have to make sure that you are going with your protection.
Yeah. But I'm gonna go. I'm not saying I'm gonna go down there, but I'm gonna let my spirit, whatever you want to call it, is going to decide what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna fly down there. I'm gonna go meet up with these people, sit across from them, and I'm gonna listen to their knowledge.
Maybe it's like the land. Don't go onto their land. Meet them in their town first and do what you have to do.
Yeah.
Like that. Maybe that's a spiritual compromise.
What one of the people said to me was that, she went down there and met up with the people who are communicating with these beings on that back. It'd be like right over there. They're communicating with them right there all the time. And then they all went down to this open pasture. They got a fire going, whatever they're doing, sitting around the fire lawn chairs. I can't remember if there was a fire or not. They're sitting around in the field, in the chairs. The main person, host we'll call him, goes walking over the timber, which sounds like it was like here to the other side of the fence, right? And you could tell, it was dark, but you could still see him. And you could tell he was talking and making noise, doing something. And then said, okay, come on over. And she said she was absolutely freaking terrified and wanted to run the other way, was her initial feeling. And she's like, no, I'm going to do it. And then he came over and she started walking over there. And she said once they got halfway there, all of a sudden, she said she started feeling more calm, to the point all of a sudden it was like totally okay. It was totally cool. And she saw them. And still is somewhat has interactions with them on her own property still today. The odd time. So
they followed her to her own property.
I don't know. See, but there's nothing but love and affection from her towards these beings in the property. So, but like you say, and like I've heard from so many other people, no, they're tricksters. Yeah. And then I've got another friend of hers who they're like this, right? And this man is so full of knowledge, it's not even funny. And he says the opposite. He goes, and he refers to them. He goes, I don't trust the dirty bastards. There's no way. I don't. He goes, I don't facilitate the mind talk. They tried it once. I'm not into it. I'm not doing it. I don't trust him.
Yeah.
So it's weird because they're very, very close friends.
Yeah.
And he holds himself that way, and he's been looking at this for 30 years, and he knows a lot.
Yeah.
And she is more of the, they're the Foots, they're my good friends, you know? So it's like, it just adds to more confusion for me as I'm going along on my ride, looking for direction and looking for
Isn't it
knowledge.
weird, just to say this, you can go out there and live
love
and
to have
survive. You can thrive out there, and you do thrive out there. And can you go in the kitchen and bake like a souffle? Can you?
No.
But your wife can.
Yeah.
She can. Isn't it weird how this woman is like openly talking and feeling okay, and then there's this man like.
It's just confusing, right?
It's light and day for me. Like, there's no way, and these people know I'm manipulating her because she's a woman. She doesn't know the dangers. But these men who live the life out there in the woods know the value of life, and they're like, stay the fuck over there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's a crazy ride, right? It's a freaking crazy ride. Then I got another guy, and this guy, there's another guy who jumps up and down that they're at his house, at his property. He's got the names from the Xanu and the Tracheon, the Xanu, and one's good and one's bad, and we have weekends at my house, and they'll come over and hang out, and we have people. What it boils down to, if I could relay what's going on, is so this guy had an experience in Oregon years ago, changed his life. I think it caused eventual divorce. Seeing this thing stand there watching his kids. I saw the interview of him, and he broke down. We're not going to say any names. Yeah. Broke down crying, fell a frickin' part, right?
Yeah.
Then he, as so many people do, became absolutely obsessed with Sasquatch. Spent every spare minute he had looking for Sasquatch, looking for them. I need to know. I need to see them. I need to find them, right? Now, remarried, has a place not too far from here, and these beings are allegedly at his property. And he's written books, and he says they're using me to send a message to the rest of the human beings. Mm. Okay? And I listen to everybody. I'm not saying this isn't true. But unfortunately for me, and then I see he's selling weekend trips. You got to pay to come to his house, and I'm like, all right, I'm just being honest. I'm not saying this isn't true. I'm not saying anything bad about him. I'm saying what my gut tells me. My gut says, all right, so we got these spiritual beings, these unknown, unacknowledged beings, and they're using me to send out a message to all of you. Did they also say, and P.S., make sure you charge $150 for everybody to come to your house? Because that's how important this message is. I don't know. This is so many things for me and the way my brain operates that don't quite mesh up. So let's just say I am one of these beings, these people. And I have a message that I need to get out to the human beings. Well, where am I going to go? I'm going to go to somebody like Tucker Carlson. I'm going to go to somebody who's got millions of followers and is respected and trusted. And I'm going to go there and I'm going to sit right beside his ass in front of the video camera and I'm going to share my important message that I need to get out to the human beings. Mm-hmm. Right? So why am I going to go find this guy who doesn't have any following and I'm going to hang out just in his backyard and I want you to share this message? I might not be delivering what I'm thinking smoothly.
I'm totally getting it. But do you have something to say? I feel like you have something to say.
Yeah. Well, if they get into your brain, they're getting in there spiritually.
Right.
And so you need to protect yourself from that.
Right. Do you think some of these people, they've got into them spiritually?
Yeah.
They got a hold of them?
Oh, yeah.
Got them wherever they want them, they're just playing with them?
Like I was saying, our life here is like really small. They've been living forever and they know. And they have the ultimate patience, and their plan might be for generations from now, and it could be really bad.
What do you think's so useful about the human soul?
Useful?
Yeah, like how do evil demons or spirits or entities benefit from us, our spiritual side?
They want to destroy us.
Oh, they want to destroy us.
They want to destroy us. They don't care about us. They don't love us. They didn't make us. They hate God. So like. And we're a product of God. Right. That's what I think, anyway.
They're doing a pretty good job destroying a lot of us.
Yeah, they sure. Well, look at the world. It's going that way, unless we start changing the way we think and the way we express it.
Well, as long as we start seeing the light, right? Everybody's got to embrace the bright light That's what I was saying the other day. Imagine if it was absolutely shameful for us to not tell the truth. The state, society would be in. We'd be in paradise.
We don't know how to tell the truth.
I know. Would you imagine if we did?
Yeah.
Imagine if humans... Just imagine. Just that simple, one little teeny tiny act of being absolutely honest no matter what. That would change the entire freaking everything.
If everything was transparent.
It's such a tough thing. It's lost in a big way in a lot of society, but it's such a simple lesson that we're taught. You know what I mean? Like when you're a brand new baby. You don't get that nipple in your mouth, it's going to hurt and you're going to cry. Get in there and eat some food. You know, stick your finger in that birthday candle. It's going to hurt like hell. Don't do it again. We don't do it again. It's the simple rules in life as we're born. We're taught.
And I got a feeling that we're going to suffer in the future because we're still sticking our finger in that fire.
We're sticking our whole bodies in those flames, and we are paying for it today. I mean, just like an example of, we're going to go down another rabbit hole here, right? But, it's just when I'm seeing the hungry children in our backyard.
What do you think our soul is?
What do I think it is?
Yeah.
I think we are definitely energy for sure. But it's a confusing thing, right? I mean, I'm still trying to figure out just what we are here in flesh form in Bigfoot, but trying to figure out what our soul is, I don't know. What do you think?
I think our soul is our spiritual brain, and I think we should listen to it more than we listen to our brain. Our brain can be controlled by anything.
Yeah, it is. It is controlled by anything. Our physical brain. That makes sense.
Well, it's influenced by everything.
Yeah. Like I know, I said this for a long time online. I let my guts make all of my decisions, and I haven't lost yet since I tuned into my.
And that comes from your spirit, not your soul or your brain.
Yeah. It's not my tummy.
So you talking about energy, like I think it's the discipline why I'm so attracted to like military guys, and I used to work with a lot of military. Like I was part of a contract, and how sound manipulated, and how a small town. I went and I looked back for this little town, and it's gone now. So I don't know what that means, but they were paying every town member, even if they had an infant, like $300 a day, so that they could experiment with sound. And I helped build these sounds, right?
What?
Yeah.
Where at? What country?
In the United States.
No way.
Yeah, and they were trying to get them, like, as an experiment to eat the same thing when they turned it on, like eat turkey today. So everyone went out and
they're controlling them with sound.
Mm-hmm.
They did that for our reserve.
And they
really?
Yeah, and that's kind of I think.
And they did this successfully. Word.
Yeah. And like they were told to eat spaghetti, and they were told to eat turkey, and they were told to eat chicken, and then they were told to eat beef, and they tried to manipulate it to go further. And then once they found out that it actually did work on like 100% of that small town, they tried. That's when they ended the contract with me. That's when I had successfully done my job, but they went on further to do something. And this was like 10 years ago, and so I just wanted to say that because you were talking about energy, and I'm like, well, sound manipulation. Like,
that sounds pretty alarming.
Yeah. I know, like, I've given up now. Like, I have totally 100% given up on our privacy. We have no privacy now.
Yeah.
Privacy is a commodity, and it's just a matter of who you get and how deep do you want your privacy. The governments all over the world have your information. There's no stopping it. If you think you have privacy online or in your life, you don't.
No,
you don't. Like the GoPros, the computers, you can turn everything off, but it's still being powered, and it shows your interface, like what you're looking at on the screen. It shows it as it's off, but it's not. It's off to comfort you. It's on for them.
Right.
So they're constantly listening to you, and every time you look at your phone to see what time it is, it scans your face. So eventually it's going to get like 100% of your face.
Yeah. And
that's facial recognition, which has been out for like over 10 years.
What about the flip phones? They're still flip phones safe, aren't they?
Yeah, they don't have it's only the older flip phones that don't have the power needed to generate to activate,
gotcha.
to use these,
I heard Sarah said something about those flip phones are really starting to come back.
Yeah, for privacy.
Yeah, people started to clue in.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. Like the smart TVs, they're cameras, and the government can watch just like it's. Yeah. So like, there's your smart TVs and there's your laptops with cameras, and you don't even need a camera. Like they have the hardware now where your screen is just a camera, and they have the little tiny camera there just for your comfort. Your whole screen is capable of becoming a camera to see you. Like that's why I gave up. I'm like, okay, well, every child born from this point on hasn't had the comfort of like anonymity and
just growing up being a kid without the whole class knowing what you're doing on your social media, right?
Yeah. So like and that's just from, that's more of the conspiracy. Like I deal with that all the time. Programmers are 100% about freedom of information, right? Like they're all about, except for the little kids, they're like all, oh, I have power, and they like go and do stupid shit. But
I couldn't imagine what it would be like. We were talking about this the other day. I couldn't imagine growing up right now, being a teenager right now. Oh my God, wouldn't that be mind-boggling?
It's awful.
Holy.
Yeah. There's when I was when I was kind of reckless back, like, I don't know, like 10 years ago, I developed a program when smartphones came out. Everything, there was no security. Like I breached, so I didn't breach so many phones. And I created a program on my phone where I could I had a wheel on it, and I would spin the wheel, and everybody within a 10-foot radius, all of their private messages were spun onto my phone.
No way.
Yeah, there was no security on them. So like, I thought it was fun, but then I realized I'm like invading people's privacy. So like,
yeah, it's kind of dark too, right?
Yeah, but that's totally capable. That's what they do. Like look at Tucker. He doesn't even have any privacy for his own email. His email is protected by, like, let's say Yahoo. And Yahoo wants to stay in business, so they have $1 billion contract in there for security, and the government got past that. So like, what do you do? Like, we have no privacy. I'm just so disappointed about that. Like, the fight was lost for our privacy.
So weird, eh? I wonder who they are when it really narrows down to the spearhead of they. Who is it? You know what I mean?
What are they influenced by, right?
Power. Money, power.
And where does the power come from?
The people. Isn't it creepy?
I think it's the people.
Yeah.
Oh, it's good. Oh man, I hear it every day when I'm programming. I hear it every day because it's the frustration of them losing control, and they like to be under control. Kind of like, I need a place to go. I need directions to go. There are so many of the people like that, right?
Yeah.
They need that, and it's a comfort to them. And then when they're released, right, they're frustrated and they're worried, and not too many of them
not comfortable.
Yeah, they don't assimilate back into
right.
Yeah.
Huh.
But I hear so much about it, about what they're doing and what happened over there, and how your wife will look at this and she'll recycle it. That's care. Over there's none for human life, and it's so damaging to them to see these people have no care for their own people or them.
Right.
And that's life. And then they come back and they're like, what's going on? So like, I just try to love them all.
That's good.
Hugs and
usually seems to win. Sort of.
Yeah.
It's a long fight. It's a long fight and battle, but
yeah.
I don't know.
It takes a lot. Like, I'm pretty persistent, right? And that's part of programming. And I've gotten like a few really good friends from in the military, and they'll just sit there and listen to my podcast. They'll just sit there and listen just so they can go to sleep. It's like my voice is like squawk, squawk, squawk. I don't know, it's just something normal, like a hum or something. And I know that sound and the manipulation of sound can do this to people. And I don't know why they're not, using this to comfort people. They're not,
Well,
I think of the good, but they're thinking about the bad, right?
all that money they're using to kill people, they could be feeding these kids.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
Isn't that so bizarre? The second I seen those moms wanting food, the first thing I'm thinking was, how are we going to... Well, we got the membership thing. Perfect. We're going to feed some kids.
Yeah. Right on.
And that's just on the teeny, we're at the bottom of the barrel. So how come the people in control these billions of dollars to go kill people, how come they are seeing that there's children hungry and they're thinking, I know we're going to do this $1 billion.
Isn't that like Poland?
Feed the kids.
Isn't it Poland that's doing that? Like they're looking after their own country.
Poland?
I think it's Poland. They're not even accepting like all these migrants.
Oh yeah, no, they put the door up for all the invasion.
Yeah.
The global invasion.
And they're looking after their people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like
they're also almost on the dark side too. They're looking to get at it too, right? In the war with Russia.
Yeah.
There's a bunch. It's just a huge cluster F going on over there. But yeah, they've said no. Yeah, that was the Polish prime minister that stood in front of the UN and said, "Yeah, look what you guys are doing now, losers."
Yeah.
Right.
There's not very many people that can say home.
No, there's not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My home is down there.
It is. But that's how I got a hold of Kat.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
She was in my university class too, and that's how I met her. And the first thing I thought and we share this, like, because we look back now and laugh about it. But when I first met her, I'm like, who the hell does she think she is? She has a connection to the land, and then she became my best friend, and now we talk all the time, and she comes down to Kildone, and it's just like, I gotta find this, and I just can't get to it. Okay, let's try this way. But yeah, I just wanted to say from Russia, there are some good people over there.
Oh, for sure there is. For sure there is.
And they want to leave.
Yeah.
They want to come here. It's just as bad here.
Well,
it's a matter of time before doing what they're doing.
Yeah. So back on the topic a little bit. So do you still, like, your friend who we've had here, she wants to go looking for a Sasquatch.
Yeah.
And you go with her.
Yeah.
Like, do you want to see them again? Or
if I see them, I see them. If I don't, well.
But if you go looking, like you said, remember we were talking about the inviting them to your home. If you go looking, you're not worried about them going and banging on your house?
Not ever. I have protection.
Have they banged on the house at the beach?
No.
No kidding.
No, but they've thrown gravel against it.
Oh, they've thrown rocks at it.
Yeah. And it wasn't very much, and I just told them to stop it. And they did.
Crazy. Because there's so many people, I've had a few people email me lately too that have stuff ongoing right now. They didn't even know about these beings.
Oh.
Like they didn't know anything about them, and all of a sudden they start getting stuff growled at, screamed at.
I heard the scream only once, and I never want to hear it again.
Oh, you did hear it?
Yeah.
Out there?
Yeah. I swear it sounded like worse than a movie scream of a woman being murdered. Yeah. And someone told me, and I don't remember who, that's what the females do when they're going kind of into heat or something.
Really?
Yeah. Well, someone said it to me. I don't know. I don't know if I believe it or not, because
I don't know. It's a tough one because it's usually directed at human beings, right?
Yeah.
In the middle of the night and stuff. So how loud was it? Did you feel it?
No, I didn't feel it. I had opened my sliding glass door, and I was taking a step out, and I froze in that position because I heard that, and it was coming from halfway across the harbor on the where the mountain is, and I could see it. I mean, I could see it in my mind that it was there, and I could see it with its head thrown back, and I could see it with its arms like this. I don't know what it was doing. I have no idea. Well, I couldn't physically see it. I seen it in here. I mean,
I gotcha.
Well, maybe I shouldn't go into that.
No, that's all right.
Yeah. Anyway, I saw it.
Hmm.
and it was a brown one.
Was it scary?
No.
Do you think that sound was meant to scare
Well,
you?
I froze because I initially was startled because I heard it, right? And like, what is that? And then when I realized what it was, it's like, oh, okay, slammed the door. And my husband just walked in and asked me if he heard it. He said no.
He asked you what?
Yeah, I asked him if he heard it, and he said no.
That's
I
bizarre
heard
too,
it.
right?
He didn't. Yeah,
But he always denied because he didn't want to.
that's right.
He was
didn't
in
want
denial.
to. We saw one together, him and I.
Yeah.
Oh, no way.
And for the first time in his whole entire our being together, 46 years of being together, he grabbed my hand and walked with me, and he never ever did that.
So, was it nighttime or daytime?
It was just evening.
No way. What'd you see?
The light was on in a cabin, like across the basin,
Yeah.
and a little point comes out, and we have a float like this, and we're looking, and because the light was on there, the silhouette was there, and it had long hair. It had long hair, yeah, and it wasn't really big and chunky. Maybe if it turned because it was sideways, but I could see its head do this to look at us, and it was black. It was like a silhouette. So
What'd your husband think of that?
he wouldn't. He said he didn't see it.
Yeah,
No
but he
way.
grabbed your hand and
Yeah.
and after
He
you were out
saw
of
it.
there, yeah.
He saw it.
Yeah.
He basically dragged me away from
And
it.
then when you wanted to see how big it was one time, like
Yeah.
you went back and looked and realized that tree was pretty freaking big and the branch that she
I know.
measured. But yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Have you ever seen multiple, like always one at a time, or you seen more than one at a time?
No, my son did.
Really?
Yeah, and they're just there. He was outside and he was cutting kindling, and the dog was with him, and the dog was pressing up against him. He was anxious, and he said he looked up the hill behind my house, and he saw two of them, and they were standing there, and they were both swaying in unison, right?
I don't understand why they sway too. Is it because they're so big?
I think it's because
wonder?
they're heavy.
I think
Yeah.
it's because they're stressing out.
Oh, maybe like a
think so.
primal thing, hey?
Well, I've have too many people have said they've seen them. And when they saw them, look at them, then they started swaying back and forth.
Oh, I
Once they
see.
started looking at them.
Yeah.
Maybe they're trying to control us.
Oh, we killed the battery on that camera.
Really?
Oh,
Crazy.
it's gone now. Yeah.
How long have we been at this?
I don't know.
I still got a camera going right here.
Yeah. That's
This
That's
camera go
always
for like
pretty
this camera go for like 6 or 7 hours.
nice. It's 4:25 or 29.
Couple hours, eh?
Yeah.
Babble it away as usual. Seems like 7 minutes.
Yeah, and there's so much we haven't told you.
Probably
Yeah.
all have to go coffee pee.
Yeah. I do.
All right. Well. Anything you want to say to anybody?
Just for everybody to be careful and really think about each other, pray for each other,
Yeah.
you know?
Oh yeah, I wanted to say to you too about when you were saying that you wanted to like give to the community, you know, and Mom looked at me and she's like, "Yep, you do."
I did.
Yeah, because when you leave our house, Mom, oh, it doesn't matter who it is, like she gives them food for the journey home, like whether it be like 5 minutes away or like 20 hours away or whatever, like that's just how she was brought up. And
Those are teaching, yeah.
yeah, and whenever I went out, I would always like try and be generous with somebody somehow in a way that I can, and it's just how we were brought up, and that's how you're doing it.
Yeah, I don't really think of it. I don't ever think about it. But
Yeah.
when you think about it, I don't think anybody ever leaves here without a bag of meat.
Exactly. Yeah, it comes from within. Yeah.
You know, I wanted to ask you something. I went to a play in Nanaimo, and it had to do with the Indian hospital over there. It's not there anymore. It's been torn down and everything. But they had a play, and it was about that play. And after coming out of it, I was really disappointed. I truly was disappointed. It wasn't anything like what happened to us.
Oh, they're trying to tell the story?
Yeah.
And it was censored?
Oh,
No truth. I think.
Yeah.
They were trying to make it look like it wasn't?
yeah.
Really? Who did it? Who
That's
put
what
it
I
together?
think. Well, it was Native people, and I'm wondering what was their teachings, But I wanted to ask you this. We have reconciliation, right? And I went through that. I was a big part of that. And we're trying to say, when are we going to start this? Because it hasn't happened. And how are we going to do it? And my question to you is, how do we let white people, I don't like saying that because they're just people too.
There's no offended over here.
a lot of them play like they understand, but they don't.
Oh yeah.
And so they try really hard. I know some of them are really genuine. They really care and they want to help. But how do we do that? We're so dysfunctional as people, all of us.
Well, I don't know. I mean, you gotta. How do you answer that question? It's kind of like when just for me to talk about this topic that we talk about on my channel a lot. I always say, I don't think we're gonna get to know any answers until we figure out our own shit.
Well, I was thinking about it a lot, and I was thinking that I have this relationship with you, and I recognized you as soon as very first time I saw you, like you were a long lost relative or something. And I don't have that with them, so what the heck is that?
I don't know. Is it a survival mechanism? Are they just trying to find this career and field and where they're going to survive and thrive and they want to be this person? Do you know there's a difference? It's like, how do I explain this? It's like with anything in life, with hunting or fishing as an example or whatever. There's a lot of people that want to be, and there's a lot of people that just are.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I think a lot of these people are, I know I'm not the best word slinger on the planet, but it's like some people see something over here and I want to be a part of that, and I want to make things better. And they got good intent, but they don't really have a clue what they're getting themselves into.
We call them saviors.
Saviors?
Yeah, like they want to come in and save.
Yeah, we've had a lot of them come down to Kildonan and there.
Well, I know. Well, the first ones I saw, where was I? Where were we? We were somewhere. I think we were at your house. And those people came over, and they're with so-and-so, and I remember it instantly. The second they walked in the door, for me, I'm like, oh, God, get out of here. What are you even doing here?
Yeah.
But it's just the energy, right? It's either, I don't know, it's a tough thing to put into words for me, but how do we get past that? I don't know. I think, actually, well, obviously, we wouldn't have found each other without talking to each other.
That's right.
Right? So I guess it's probably the answer is to talk to as many people as possible.
Well, actually, like I just saw you and I knew, and I hadn't even talked to you yet. I wanted to look at David Pleiades because I wanted to talk to him about some of the stuff we talked with you right now, and I saw him on TV and I said no.
Right.
Yeah.
And I no.
The first thing I thought of was Infiltrator. I don't know why, but
I don't know.
Yeah.
Don't know. I think that is the answer. It's like the answer. I think we have all proven something here in this channel, which is that we only have each other. It boils down to we only have each other.
And our time is this big.
Our time's that big, that big. But we need to listen to each other. Everybody needs to be heard.
I like to listen to people.
Yeah,
I like to hear them talk to me.
Yeah.
And some of the people are so offensive and so mean and so cruel, and yet if you listen to them, you can hear it. I think, can't you?
You can hear. Well, there's a lot of lost souls out there, right? In the
end.
end.
And it's in them, and they're trying to get it out. There's this thing that's saying, "No way, you're going to behave like this."
Yeah, it's a tragic thing to witness and be aware of. But imagine being that person not being aware. Right? You're going to go through life not even aware of how you're cruising along and what you're doing and what you're giving off and the difference you're making, which is nothing for the bright light. But
that was a really hard thing for me. I knew it was wrong, even when I left the residential school, to behave and think the way I was.
Right.
And to feel it. I knew it was wrong because my grandmothers didn't bring me up to be that person that I was. So I shut down. And that's why people shut down a lot of times.
Yeah.
Is because they can't deal with it. And I didn't have the teaching. I didn't have anyone to help me. There was no counselors. And if there was, they wouldn't even understand it.
Right.
Back then.
Yeah.
And
as an example, I don't mean to cut you off, but as an example, some psychiatrists were hired by NTC, to come down and to counsel us because of the abuse that that I went through, that my sister went through, and and just, I guess to her it was like the magnitude of abuse that we suffered at the hands of, the men who had been abused in the residential school. She had to leave and go get more training, and she left us crying, open wounded, exposing everything that happened to us. And then she starts crying and leaves off and takes a boat and just goes. And she's
never comes back.
And never came back.
Right. Well, it's something too for me. I mean,
so I just learned to be strong about it.
Yeah. But one thing I have learned when you can't, it's a pretty tough thing to argue with, is the fact that what percentage of psychologists were damaged people? Mm-hmm. Right? The people that I know who have definite mental health issues. I'm going to become a counselor. You're going to what? You haven't mastered life yet, you idiot. Just because you went through shit doesn't mean you can help people.
Yeah.
And so many of these psychologists that I've become aware of were so damaged, and that was their motivation to become us. So I'm a psychologist now.
Yeah.
Are ya? Who gives a shit?
Well,
you still haven't mastered your problems. You still haven't mastered this life. You're still not there.
I had a counselor. I used to go and see her quite often, and it was just a trip to town actually for me, because she didn't understand anything I was talking about. But I would try and talk to her, and she said to me, "Well, you sound a little out of my reach. Maybe we should have a psychiatrist come in and speak with you." And she says, "Maybe you can show him your paintings." And I said, sure, why not? So when the next appointment came, I came in, sat with her for a little while, went into a side room with him, and he sat there and he put his elbows on his knees and he was talking a little bit to me, and he asked me to show me the paintings I had. And so I showed him and told him the story, and he was crying.
As he should have been.
And I felt like I had to console him.
All right. Yeah.
He started crying.
Well,
And he says, I got lots to learn.
I know. Well, it's for me.
So going to university and getting all these...
Doesn't mean shit.
No,
it doesn't mean shit.
No.
You guys know how my feelings and all that. It doesn't mean shit. What I have learned so far for me, and I always say for me, because there's nothing worse than somebody going like this, and that's the way it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I grew up with that. So it's like, for me, you just got to keep on going, not give up, and find your people. Mm-hmm. And you find your people, you find each other, then you got your safe place, and then you get to really, truly speak back and forth and learn for real. You know what I mean? Not finding this group and needing to fit in with that group because, well, they know what's best. No, they don't. You got to find your people. And that's funny, when I met David Nino, the American boxer, like, he said at first, he goes, we talked for 7 minutes, and he goes, long lost friend, brother from another mother, says, and we talked about it, said, when you find your people, you know. You just know. And he said, what he called us is finding a tribe again. He said, just finding a tribe. But I think that is the answer. People just need to be speaking. And the shitty, sad deal is we have been conditioned to give all of our confidence into the government and those doctors that they hire to come and talk to you. That is a huge, huge F up. Obviously, it hasn't been shit. It's just like we said, when I went over your place that time, and you're going to show your paintings, and those people came in, and this is so-and-so, and they're here, I'm like, you know what I'm talking about. The energy is crystal clear, signatures right there. I'm like, oh God, well, I'm glad I'm here for you. Can't wait for them to leave so we can relax and talk.
Yeah, real.
Right? But there's your clue right there. We can't wait for them to get the hell out of here so we can relax and hang out and talk.
Yeah.
And they'll never be able to bring that to the table in that home. They just won't.
They teach you how to behave like that in school.
Dehumanize you.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think that's the only answer I've got. It's just
I learned that too when I was taking computer science. Like, I taught my instructor a couple of things, and then that's when I realized, like, this degree means nothing in the world of knowledge, like a life experience, and
it just helps you cope with the system.
And it's just there for I don't know, like you said, the system. And I learn way more off of the programmers in the world than I do in the university. And
right.
Yeah, it's definitely more about people.
I don't know what happened to me in school. I don't know when it happened. Exactly when. It might have been maybe the whole time. I don't know. It's like when grade 8. Remember grade 8 and 9 was mandatory French and what else? 2 mandatories. French and what was it? Home to do some kind of cooking and shit or whatever. Typing. Was it typing is mandatory? Cooking? French? Grade 8 and 9, French or something else.
Yeah, grade 10 I think is when I took like typing.
Yeah, I got stuck in grade 8. I went to that new school, grade 8. It was grade 8 and 9 at that other school. Got stuck in the French class, and I knew. And I did not care if my parents were going to beat the crap out of me or not. And they come in, Stefan, come on to potato, whatever the hell it was. And I looked at her and I go, no. This is grade 8. And where did I get that shit-eating attitude? And she goes, no, I'm not going to learn French. I'm not going to learn. I don't give a shit. Out. And I got kicked out to the office every single class till finally just rifled me into some reading program. And I never learned. And then it was in grade 12 biology. Grade 12 biology. And I knew by then, by grade, who knows what grade I knew by then. I was just putting in my time. Grade 12 biology. Teacher gets me after school. Mr. Putty. His name was Mr. Putty. Don't forget. Hey, Steve, listen. You're not gonna pass this course. You got to pass. I'm like, I don't give a shit. Let's get me out of here. I'm good. No, you don't understand. You're gonna fail. No, I'm not. I'm gonna be fine. Just get me out of here. I don't give a shit. I'm good. I'm going to be fine. Well, you're not going to pass. You're not going to graduate. You'll just graduate. I'm going to be okay. But I knew then. How the hell did I know that? And how come I wasn't engulfed in shame and embarrassment and not doing extra classes? How come I didn't go after school to, I got to pass this course. I'm going to pass the course, so I'm going to be a failure. I'm going to lose.
I asked the teacher, too, like, what is the point of this? And they're thinking about it. He goes, well, I guess you can have an interesting conversation with one day with someone. I was like, there's a lot more in life about,
And then here we are now. And then you learn that everything they were teaching in that biology class, 99% of it was bullshit. Anyway, who's got to go for a coffee pee?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the one thing. We're going to put a bathroom here eventually, too. But it's not here now.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, we're out here. We'll be back again. Holy, look at this elk trail. Ooh. Wow. That is some traffic. Well, maybe I'll take a few casts here. Maybe. I don't know. Yeah, why not?